Hello.
everybody. So James has abandoned us. He's gone on annual leave. So instead of doing the gaming sessions, which we normally do, we are doing a few more free to talk sessions. So hi, I'm Parker. I'm a youth leader. This is Charlotte, a student who's joining us for their work placement. Down
Hello.
below is Leanne. Hello, Leanne. Tell us what you do and where you are.
Okay, so I'm a youth and community support worker with Free to Talk. I'm currently out doing a youth work session. We're out and about because we're not allowed inside the buildings yet. So, yeah, we're just at Blackthorn at the moment. I can't show you the young people, but there's lots of them out.
What sort of thing do you do in Blackthorn then?
We do all sorts. So tonight we've had pot noodles and some snacks. We've actually got some power balls randomly, so we're going to play some games in a minute. We were really fortunate and we did some painting. I wonder if I can turn this round. Does anyone know?
Yeah, I think if you click on the screen, it might say flip screen.
No, it doesn't. Sorry, technical issues. I'll show you anyway. So we did some painting. Basically, the young people wanted to brighten up the community, and they've got a new space in that building there that's going to go live at the end of the month, hopefully. So the young people painted some butterflies.
They're lovely.
Ooh.
Yeah, so they did that with minimal support from me. So I do a bit of street art on the side. It's my hobby. So I showed the young people how to use some spray cans, and they were really good. It's had a really nice, positive impact on the community. Lots of people having their photos taken on the way to the shops. Sorry, they're shouting me.
Sorry.
So I don't know if you can see. Little Be Happy.
Oh, they're lovely.
And then just down here is their little quote. So can you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so the way I see it, if you want the rainbow, you got to put up with the rain. I mean, could you get a more apt quote for the times that we're in at the moment?
Exactly.
So yeah, it's been really hard for them, I think, over the last few months being outside in all weathers. But they have come out in all weathers. Obviously, we're supporting vulnerable young people at the moment, hence why they're allowed to come out even though we're in lockdown. So we're hoping for a bit of normality going forward. Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, all sounds very interesting, and it's good that sort of the young people were sort of able to lead that. Sort of give them skills you can carry
so
on.
this was the butterflies was their idea. I basically did the outlines and they filled it all in. It was their production. They added the grass with no support from me, the sun. I think Kevin, one of our other youth workers, helped with the sun actually, and the flowers. So I was really impressed, to be honest, because spray painting is not easy. It's really hard. They're really fast, but they did really well. I mean, they used a lot of paint, but I don't know if you can see. The idea is you can have your photo taken with the wings.
Oh, that's so
cool. Really nice.
Yeah, really nice. Like, the community have been really positive about it and said how nice they think it is. So yeah, really good.
Something to brighten up your day when you walk past it.
Yeah, and we did it socially distanced. It was all safe, so it was quite nice, really. Still do some normal things, even under the current restrictions.
Yeah, it's important to do that, I think.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it looks nice, doesn't it? You can see it in the background. It's good.
Lovely. Nice and colourful.
Yeah, so what else have we been doing in Blackthorn? We had a McDonald's treat last week, actually, because they've done so well with the painting, so we got them a McDonald's. They're looking forward to going back inside the building. We're just going through some rules and boundaries, because obviously things might be a bit exciting when they first get inside, so we're just talking through that at the moment.
A big change,
yeah, big change, and we're hoping that the younger groups will start coming back once we're allowed indoors. A lot of the parents don't want the younger people outdoors in the cold, which is understandable.
That's fair enough.
Definitely.
Well, sounds very exciting.
Are you looking forward to going back inside, Liam?
I am looking forward to going back inside. I'm looking forward to a bit of normality, but I don't know whether that's going to be that soon, to be honest. But
might have to ease your way into it a bit, I think.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to whatever the young people want to do. Really, it's all about them. As long as they're happy, that's what's important. They are, to be fair, I'm not talking for them. They have told me they are happy outdoors. They don't mind, but they've been here in the rain and the snow and everything. So I think they really benefit from meeting up with us each week. They're very committed.
Yeah, it's a lovely idea to still meet up with them.
Yeah, I think they need it. They need the support,
Definitely.
especially when it's the only opportunity they've got to see their friends as well since January, well, before Christmas, because obviously when they're online all day, they're not really seeing their friends, are
anyone.
they?
No.
No, it's been hard. It has been hard for them.
Yeah, we've been joined by Jodie. So hello, Jodie. And she's asked what the space is used for.
What is the space going to be used for? So
Yeah.
it's going to be, let me show you the banner. There's a banner that's just gone up. So it's called, hang on, I'll show you. Coming soon is a new youth extension. Can you see it?
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
So the building itself on the other side is actually a nursery, a community centre. It does have a nursery in there at times. They also do a food bank in there. So this new building is going to be especially used for young people of Blackthorn.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, so it's really exciting.
Is it just an extra bit of space that you can use?
Yeah, so it's like I don't know if you can see. You've got this. This is the old part, and then there's the main room there. There's also a kitchen and toilets, obviously, in there. So I've not been in there. I'm actually going into this part of the building on Friday to do a risk assessment. So I'm really excited to see what it's about. The young people are really excited as well. They keep talking, asking lots of questions. If it's going to have bean bags is a big question that I must pass on. Yeah, but it's kind of exciting because it gives them time to think about the responsibility that they may have with it being a space for them. So
Definitely.
obviously we're working that into their boundaries. Because I've been talking about this to lots of people. I don't know what I'm going to be like when I'm allowed back out into places. So for the young people, I think they're going to struggle a little bit with how to behave. I mean, I'm
it'll be such a
excited.
big
Can you
change,
imagine?
won't it?
Yeah, can you imagine children and young people? They're allowed out again, and they're allowed to play with each other and do stuff. I mean, it's going to be so exciting, overwhelming even.
Yeah, it'll be so lovely though.
Exciting world.
Yeah, so there's going to be lots of different things going on in there. I think there was talks about it being used for like birthday parties, all sorts of different lovely things going on. I mean, Blackthorn's actually a really nice community.
Yeah, all sounds very exciting.
It looks nice. Yeah, it is exciting.
Yeah. I hope it all goes well.
I'm sure it will. We're hoping that the young people want to do some more painting. So if there's any community spaces out there that would like a pretty mural painted on the wall, then get in touch because the young people would really love to do it.
Yeah, but there's not many spaces to paint on now, are there?
No, and this the hoarding's obviously going to go down, so
it looks so nice though. It's a shame.
It does look really pretty, doesn't it? And we did different sizes for different size people.
Oh.
Yeah. No, really good. I am going to have to go though because they are shouting me, so I must go back and spend some time with them. All right.
All right.
No worries. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Bye. Bye.
So Richard has just popped in to say hello. He's a bit busy at the moment, so hello, Richard. So as I told you before, James has abandoned us, so it's just me and Charlotte today. We didn't really know what to do. This has all sort of been a bit of last minute planning, but we've gotten there.
Yes, we've got a little plan.
Yeah. So carrying on from what Leanne said, obviously lockdown's been really busy, and all this plan has come out of lockdown, which means so much for so many people. And one of these lifting restrictions is going back to school on the 8th of March. Yes. And this can be pretty scary for a lot of people, considering they've gone from being inside all day in front of a computer to actually being in class.
Yes.
And that can obviously lead to so many issues and problems, but also it can be very exciting as well.
Yeah. It's definitely a mixed sort of feeling, isn't it? I know some people are feeling really excited, but also they're feeling just as anxious.
Yeah, I know from a couple of young people I've spoken to, they're worried about going back and mixing with other people.
Yeah.
They're scared about going back in the fact that they may catch it, they may take it home.
So they've been off for such a long time. I think it's such a big change for all of them. I just hope everyone enjoys it and is very happy to go back. But
yeah, and it's easy to focus on the negatives, so the going back, it being a massive adjustment and all these different changes, but there are good things about it, like seeing your friends.
Definitely.
You're able to actually communicate with your teachers that bit better.
Exactly, especially with face-to-face learning and everything, you can probably get a bit more assistance, especially if you're sort of preparing for a test or something. You can do things like PE that you weren't able to do for so long. I think it's really, really important to focus on the positives of things because, like you said, it's so easy to get all tied up with the nervous things about it. But I think it's such a good thing and it's such a good way to move forward.
Yeah. The only thing is that the government have released a new phase of vaccines. So they're doing it from, I think it's 50 years old, sort of 18 years old to 50 years old. Anybody under the age of 18 aren't included in getting the vaccine.
No.
So for those going to school and to college, that can be pretty worrying. And the reason why they've said this is because young people are less at risk of getting serious side effects and getting seriously ill, but it doesn't stop them transmitting it.
Exactly, which I think is a massive issue because, say, if you're around so many people at once and you come back to your families who are all at work, or you have a grandparent in your household, you're still at a risk of spreading it to them, which is, a big problem. So it's quite interesting that they've made this agreement that young people aren't going to be vaccinated because, they're still at a risk of spreading it, even if they're not going to be ill from it.
Yeah. And I think it's also important to sort of gauge what the young people's reactions are to it. So I know Richard, who came on last week, was pretty surprised when he found out he wouldn't be getting the vaccine until he was 18 years old.
To be honest, I was really surprised. I thought they were just going to do it in different phases. So like 50 to 18-year-olds, and then they do the younger people after that. But I was really, really surprised that they're not going to do it at all.
Yeah. I know that because the vaccines have only been tested on people over the age of 18.
Yes.
18 and over, and they haven't actually been tested on anyone below the age of 18. So there's also that testing risk. They have to go through so many phases of authorizing the vaccine that we've obviously seen and known about through them introducing these different varieties of vaccines.
Definitely. And I think that's a big issue as well, because a lot of people, even people over the age of 18, are not very confident in the vaccine because it's been created so quickly, obviously because COVID spread so quickly. But there was a study within the BBC that said 16 to 34-year-olds are twice as likely as 55 to 75-year-olds to not want to get the vaccination within the UK, which is a real big issue, because even if people are being offered it for free, a lot of people are not taking it, which is not going to help with the spread or anything. And I also think there's a big reason why people don't want the vaccine. A lot of it is miscommunication. It's portrayed as quite a dangerous thing to have. A lot of people think it's not safe because of the time it's taken to produce it. It's just quite a big issue at the moment, especially with people over and under the age of 18.
Yeah, so those people who are not wanting to have the vaccine, sort of there are many things that go into that decision. We've all had to think very, very hard about whether we do want this vaccine or not, because there's all these different rumours, there's sort of like this miscommunication between the government and the public. Sort of questions that we need answers to. And also I think it's like people supplying wrong information about these vaccines.
Definitely. I think people, they get an idea in their head that it's not safe and they portray it, even if it is misinformation, but they spread it. It spreads so quickly with social media. There's been a big thing on TikTok, loads of hashtags saying how dangerous it is, and advising people not to get it when they don't know the actual relevant information of how safe it is, which is a big problem.
It's really difficult. So I was on one of these sessions with Kevin a little while ago. Well, James couldn't make it one time, so it was me and Kevin. And it was when there was talks about the vaccine, and they didn't yet start testing it in stage 2 or 3. I can't remember which one it was, but they were starting to sort of like experiment with it all. And Kevin asked me whether I would take the vaccine, and I said it's a case of weighing up the pros and cons of having the vaccine.
Definitely.
It's a case of, do you want to protect yourself from coronavirus, where it could be potentially life-threatening and life-changing, not just for yourself but for the people around you as well.
That's a massive
but also think all these rumors like you could get this, you could get that, vaccination doesn't work, if I get it I'll just fight it off. You also need to think on that side as well, but it's sort of weighing up the pros and cons whether you want to get ill from having coronavirus.
Exactly. It's whether you take that risk or not, isn't it? And obviously it is so difficult because it has been made in such a short amount of time. But I think because so many people have had it already over the age of 50, I think if you feel comfortable having it, I think it would be a wise thing. But at the end of the day, you can't make anyone have it. And it's up to you, really. It's whether you weigh up the pros and cons and how safe you feel it is.
Yeah. And also with young people, like we said a few minutes ago, young people not being vaccinated, okay, they may not be at risk of getting seriously ill, but it just means that it can be spread easier because schools are such a enclosed space.
Exactly.
They're coming into contact with so many other bubbles. Not just in their classrooms or their year groups, but with the whole school.
Definitely.
There are loads of touching points like door handles or drawers or something like that. And I think it's easy to say that, okay, they may not be at risk of getting seriously ill, but they could spread it to somebody who is. So how would we tackle that?
It's so hard as well because obviously in primary schools you can't expect little children to wear face masks. But one of the new regulations is within a secondary school, it's not compulsory, but it is advised that all staff and children wear face masks unless they're outside, which I think is adding to the fear of children going back to school, because again it's such an invasive thing having to wear a face mask all the time, especially if you're kind of trying to concentrate on the lesson or whatever. But I think that's another thing that parents are probably considering as a negative when considering sending their child back to school. And I think it is a big contributing factor to some children potentially feeling anxious or worried, because it is such a big change. But there are, like you said, there are so many good things about going back to school, like seeing your friends, having face-to-face contact with teachers, helping each other through times together. And I just think it's such a positive thing.
Yeah. So Jodie has just asked whether there's any information on the vaccines that young people can read up on for the pros and cons.
That's a really good point.
If
I'm
not,
sure.
is there anywhere we could get some? So I think, in a way, it's a case of doing a bit of research behind it, but making sure the research is credible.
Especially like NHS websites and things like that. Because like you said, if it's not credible, then it's a spread of this misinformation again, which can make people fear it rather than actually be proactive in taking the vaccine.
Yeah, and we can look at whether this information is credible by the references that they use. So if they use NHS information or information from the government, also making sure it's something like, so I use Sky News for most of my information on anything, not just coronavirus, but the news in general. I get notifications through on my phone, so I hear about it almost immediately. And you know, Sky News is free, you can watch it live. And
I mean, like we said earlier, there was things on BBC Newsround, which is a program for younger children. It's on CBBC, so there's lots of articles. When I was looking at some of the links that Parker sent me, and there's lots of really interesting things to show younger children, especially an NHS back to school booklet that had a lot of activities of how to sort of deal with mindfulness and distraction techniques if you are feeling nervous about going back to school. Do something that you enjoy is also promoted in there, like cooking or baking or anything like that. So I think there are a lot of important things that young children can look at and potentially complete, like activity booklets, to make them feel more at ease with going back to school and about the vaccine and everything.
Yeah, but we can see whether we can publish that pack on our Facebook.
Yeah, it looks like a really good pack, especially for younger children going back, either starting secondary school or going back into primary school. I think it's a really good pack to use.
Yeah, and it's also a way to, like, when you're doing it, because I've done packs like these in the past, and they've been really helpful for me because I have all these feelings and all these thoughts and I'm not writing them down. I can't visually see them. So being able to put it from mind to paper, you're able to visually see that, and it could help with understanding how you feel a bit better. And I think in school, with not just the stress from the pandemic or anything going on at home, but also with school, it's important to be able to at least see how you're feeling and being able to explore that a bit better and how you can overcome them.
Yeah, there was also something in the pack that said it's really important to talk to somebody you trust, whether it's a friend, family member, about how you're feeling, because, you know, obviously if you don't talk about it, it just bottles it up and it'll probably make the experience twice as bad as it has to be. So I think it's really important to complete activities like this, or even just reflect on how you're feeling, just to make sure you're in a good mindset to go back to school.
Yeah. And you know, staff at schools will be understanding that not everybody's going to feel so excited to go back. So, you know, don't be afraid that you're the only one thinking, I'm feeling really anxious, because I said last week that I'm anxious about it all opening up.
Yeah, me too. I feel the same, yeah.
And as much as I'm excited to be able to see friends and to possibly visit family within the next couple of months, it still makes me feel very anxious in the fact that I have not yet been vaccinated.
Yeah, me too.
I know some of my family has, so my mum's already had the first vaccine and my dad's having one this week.
That's really good, yeah.
And, you know, puts me at ease that they're having the vaccine, but I've not had the vaccine yet. And being able to visit family and friends who have not had the vaccine or who are at high risk, it still makes, you know, a mixing with other people in general makes me feel that bit anxious. So it's not a bad thing to feel this way. You're not going to be the only person.
Exactly. I think it's so important. Sorry, I think it's so important to normalise feeling like this, because I think the majority of people are feeling just as nervous and excited. So I think it's really good to express how you feel.
So Jodie's put this really good advice. It's going to be strange for everyone, which it is, and keep talking to people about how you're feeling. And that's absolutely true. Talk to your friends, talk to your teachers, your parents. Just make sure it's someone you trust and who you feel safe with.
Exactly.
You know, that's what we need to remember. It's a scary time for everybody.
Yeah, as well. We're both at university, aren't we? So I personally feel quite nervous for everything to open back up, even though the campus is so big and everything. There is, because people are given a choice to be vaccinated or not, you know, you don't know who's been vaccinated. So it's quite a nerve-wracking thing to just go back into some sense of normality when we've been away from it for so long.
Yeah, so my mum worked out the other day. I've been home for 5 months.
Crikey.
Yeah, that's not it's not what I imagined it being like at the start of the year. I'm not going to lie. You know, I've enjoyed being home. It's helped in a way. Lockdown has helped me, and it's helped me with, for example, exploring my sexuality and my gender. It's given me a lot of downtime, a lot of time to myself that I didn't know I needed.
Yeah, I think that's really important to notice as well, because even though there are downsides of lockdown, like you said, you've been able to explore things by yourself that you probably wouldn't have had the time for or would have been able to do. So I think it's really, really important to reflect on the good things that lockdown has brought, as well as things that you're lucky to get rid of.
Yeah, I also think, you know, lockdown, being shut away from everything for so long, because, you know, 2 years ago, if somebody says, "Oh, you're only allowed outside your house once a day," I would have been like,
a joke.
What are you on about?"
Yeah.
You know,
honestly. But I think it will make you appreciate everything so much more. Like, even though I'm quite nervous that everything to open up, I think once everything starts going back to normal, I think everyone will appreciate even just meeting up with family or seeing your friends or just going for a picnic or something. I think it will be such an appreciated thing, and it will make you realise, you know, that when things are like that, they're so much better.
Yeah. It's also things like I've been able to connect with my family a lot better. So since going to university, you know, having that distance between my family and myself, when all I've relied on is my family, it was easy for me to adjust to living independently than it is to go from living independently to coming back home and being surrounded by my family again. It was, you know,
it's such a strange shift, isn't it? And I think because you're not prepared for it either, you don't expect, like you said, you weren't expecting to be back for 5 months.
No, I mean, I'm coming back to Northampton on Saturday, so I can do a few more face-to-face sessions with Free to Talk.
Yeah, I'm sure that would be really nice.
Yeah, I'm excited to come back, but also, like, I have this different connection with my family now than what I ever have done. So it's going to be upsetting to leave. I'm not going to lie.
It's going to be like you're moving into uni, like again, like you've done it the first time.
Yeah. You know, and
that's so nice that you feel like you've made a better connection with your parents. Like, not a better connection, but you've got closer to them because of this.
And it's also worth, like, we've learnt so much about each other a lot more as well through lockdown. spending so much time together in like one house. It's
Definitely, but it makes
scary.
it does draw you closer, doesn't it? You learn so many more things about each other because you're at home all the time. I mean, there's not much else to do apart from spend time together, is there?
Yeah, but I also think it's worth remembering that, you know, for the young people who are looking at going to university, hopefully, you know,
Yeah,
there's no guarantee, but hopefully we won't be in this situation next year.
yeah. It was such a shame because I had a lot of friends who started university last September, and obviously things were looking like they were going to go back to normal. But everything, they've had such a bad first year. They haven't had any freshers. They haven't been able to meet any friends or anything. And I just feel really sorry for them because it's such a social thing, university, isn't it? Part of it is making friends and doing all going out and things. But yeah, I think it would be such a nice thing to have like a normal year for them.
Yeah, all levels of education, so that's nursery, that's school, college, university, and even youth work, because youth work can also be classed as an educational setting, just
Yes.
in a different way. So informal education is what we call it.
Yeah.
But any form of education, you know, is sort of that social aspect.
100%.
And there was something on in the news the other day that caught my eye, and
Yeah.
it was somebody who was working for a nursery,
Yeah.
saying that these children who normally go to nursery, they are missing out and on their social development because there are so many different areas of development, and social development is one of the key ones,
So especially if
one of
they're
the key
starting
areas.
especially if they're starting there from 4 or 5 years old, that's a key time to meet with new children, mix, especially if you don't have any siblings or any, cousins or anything. It's such an important time for children. And, so many children must have missed out on key social interactions because of the restrictions.
Yeah, and like we're expecting these children and young people, everyone really, to go from nothing to everything within
Which
one day.
it's just unrealistic, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's also, this is where it goes back to talking, don't be afraid to tell people how you're feeling.
Exactly. If things feel too much, you do just need to say, because so many people will be feeling the same. You just got to express it, and there will be support there. Like you said, in schools, teachers will be trained to support children who feel all overwhelmed, and there will be people there. So it's just important to remember that you won't be alone in feeling like this.
Yeah, and also like talk to youth workers as well. You know, youth workers are there to be able to support. So not even just young people, just the community in general.
Yeah,
Because Free to Talk is a youth and community organisation that focuses on the community in general. And young people are such an important factor of the community.
yes,
And they are the next generation. They are people who are going to sort of be leaders almost within the communities.
yeah,
And being able to work through everything now, while it's all still fresh, will hopefully give them that better understanding of how they're feeling and how they
definitely.
can work around it and work through those barriers.
Yeah, well, like Leanne said, she being out in the public has made her realise how important children and young people meeting up is. And she's, being able to hopefully go inside soon is such a massive thing, and it's so exciting. And it's just so important for the younger people to feel supported and have somewhere to go. Maybe, someone to tell if they're feeling like they need to talk to somebody. It's just so important that young people feel supported.
Yeah, so just quickly, hello, Levy. I hope I pronounced that right. I do apologise if I haven't. Um, yeah, it's a difficult one, but like we said, it's also important to not just focus on the negatives and how you can work through them, but the positives. And
because
again,
there are so many positives, like you said, that lockdown has brought, and it's important to not forget those.
yeah, you know, like it's things like questions like, how has lockdown benefited you? What's one skill you've learnt through lockdown? What transferable skills have you developed? Also focusing on your relationship with your family, if you've benefited like I have through that experience. This different way of education, like, is this the way to go forward? Because we're saying how from, you know, we've gone from face-to-face learning to online learning, and it's such a dramatic change.
It's like doing an online course, isn't it? Which is not what you expected when you started.
Yeah, but considering we've gone from face-to-face to online, what would have happened if we brought this generation up with online learning, like they've had no face-to-face? Would it be different? Would it have a different effect? Would it be more beneficial?
It's interesting because when I was told I was doing a placement as part of my uni course, I would never have thought it'd be online. But it does show that, during certain circumstances, things can be done effectively online, like youth work and education. I mean, I know it takes a bit getting used to, but it is important to remember, we're moving forward with technology and everything, and it shows that it can be done if it has to be done.
Yeah. And it's important to look at those factors, like we've said. But it's important to see what we're taking out of the pandemic, but also like, what are we most looking forward to? I'm looking forward to seeing friends.
Me too. Going out, going to get food, going on holiday.
Yeah. Not having someone meet you at the door with your shopping, actually being able to go into a shop.
Exactly. The amount of things I've ordered online is ridiculous. I'm excited to go and actually look at some furniture or something and just being able to choose it rather than hoping that it looks all right in person.
Yeah. But like going back to school and going back to uni, because so my Northampton uni has brought out guidance on what courses can go back and when.
Yes,
some courses are going back from the 8th. Those are the courses that require sort of more practical experience that they can only do on campus, they can only do in person. And then they're going to gradually bring in different courses throughout the year, and hopefully they'll revise it in April and see whether it's worth bringing the rest of the courses back. But I finish in April.
So, I finish in March, so I won't be going back.
I won't be either. And I said to my mum the other day, you do realise I'm not going to be going back onto campus this year.
You'll be at home for like double the amount of time you have, won't you?
Yeah, well, I'm planning to stay in Northampton in the summer anyway, so I can sort of work and hopefully build up that better relationship. Because it's different in the summer than what it is during term time.
Yeah, and it's important that you get used to it again. You don't want to rush into anything and not feel comfortable.
Yeah, it's a scary time. Don't be afraid to talk about it. Look at the positives. Think of what you've learned, and that pack we said about being able to recognise what you're feeling and why you're feeling that way. We'll hopefully put it on our Facebook, Free to Talk Facebook.
Yeah, I'll have to share. We'll have to put the link on there because it is really, really effective.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, it is a scary time.
It is. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But it's a change in time, isn't it? And change can be good.
Yeah. And like talking about things that are important to us. So for me, again, it's my family.
Yeah.
Building up that better relationship. Me and Charlotte were talking earlier about what sentimental object we had. We thought it was good to bring it up.
Yeah.
So for me, I actually have it with me. My mum took up an interest in rock painting.
Oh,
And it
lovely.
was during the summer, and she did loads of stuff, and I even did a few. Mine are mostly rainbow because I'm gay, but like it's simple things like that that will put a smile on your face, that are
Exactly.
important to you, that will remind you of the important things in life. So it's here. So
Oh,
it's a little bug.
oh, that's so
Uh,
cute. I didn't
and
realise it was a little animal.
yeah. Um, and it says to Cat because that's my nickname, love mummy, which is
Oh,
really
that's so
smiley
sweet.
face and a couple of kisses. So
Like
that's
you
really
said, it's the small things, isn't it?
yeah, and like it's not something that has been bought, it's something that's been made, so it has, for me anyway, it has that extra meaning, and
Yeah,
it's something I can take to Northampton with me and be like, I must say hi to my mother, my
definitely.
dearest
A little
mother.
reminder.
Yeah, the little reminder, and also a reminder of how important family is, even when you're away and you're going through
Definitely,
your own things and you've got your own things going on. It's always important.
100%. I think it also shows that how important it is to be creative as well, because obviously a lot of people use lockdown to explore new skills, and it shows that you need to do something that you enjoy.
Yeah,
Yeah. And my object I chose was my journal, and it sort of links in with sort of writing down how you're feeling and everything. And so this is my journal. I also have there's a space for like putting pictures in and things like that. So I put some things in from obviously before COVID of like my friends, my family. But it's I take it with me if ever I go traveling or anything. But it's a really nice way to sort of keep hold of memories and things that I think are important. And it also lets me reflect on things like how my day was, what I could improve. I can reflect on the month I've had. But I think it's just a really nice way, like you, to sort of be creative and, stay in contact and stay grounded with your family and everything.
yeah. How does it make you feel like looking back on what once was
It makes
pre-COVID
me
time?
feel strange because obviously it's sort of a sense of like, I just want it to happen again. But at the same time, I'm really excited. I kind of not enjoying sort of waiting for it, but because it's so close, I think it's so nice. Like the night before you're doing something really exciting, you're almost more excited the night before than you are to actually do it. And that's
Yeah,
sort of how I'm feeling. I'm sort of so excited. I just can't wait for it really. I just want everyone to be safe and for it to all happen nicely and all the restrictions to be gone.
yeah. And that's the important thing. We've got to remember on like what's best for
Exactly.
ourselves and the people around us, taking into consideration our family,
Yeah.
whether they're vulnerable. But
I know nobody thought this was going to last this long, but you've got to put the safety first of everyone. So I
remember,
think,
yeah, remember when
yeah,
the government said it would only last 2 weeks?
honestly, what I thought when they said that, I thought I was laughing to my mum. I said, imagine if they closed university, and they have. I was like,
You
that's never
jinxed
going
it.
to
You jinxed it.
happen. I did. I was like, oh, imagine. Well, they only said it would last a few weeks, didn't they?
Yeah,
Oh,
and yeah, I think lockdown has taught us all a very valuable lesson,
definitely.
to
Because
not take. Yeah,
it's not an everyday situation either, is it? And I think I kind of feel quite not glad that I've been through it, but like you said, it's taught me so many valuable things. And I think you'll appreciate everything so much more when everything opens, when you can see your friends. It'll just be simple things, won't it? Like going to the pub or something, or going out for dinner with your family, or anything.
yeah, and I mean, on that note, because we haven't really got long left, because we started
Yeah.
a bit earlier, so we'll probably end a bit earlier. What sort of thing has happened over the weekend that sort of made you smile?
For me, I think it hasn't been so much the weekend because I've been working all weekend. But today I've managed, in between the meeting we had earlier, I've managed to do a lot of uni work. I've got some assignments due. They're my last two assignments of the whole year. And I've managed to make a good start on them. And I just feel in a better headspace than I was probably at the weekend. So yeah, I'm glad that I've managed to catch up on a few things and feel a bit better? What about you?
Well, I can't remember whether I mentioned it last week.
Just
On
go
Friday.
ahead. And...
But I washed my dog. Now, my dog is a very unusual dog.
What dog is it?
He's a Newfoundland. So, not very well known in the UK, but you'll be surprised how many people do know them. They're a very big breed.
Okay. Have they got long fur?
Very.
So it's a big dog.
Yeah, a very big dog, very fluffy dog, and he gets muddy very easily. And he's Landia, so he's black and white fur. So his white fur, actually, you'd look at him and you'd go, "Oh, it's fine. He's clean." And then when it snowed and you could see what white was, he was not white.
It went off white.
Yeah, he was not white. So we were like, "We'll wait until the weather warms up a bit."
Yeah.
And we'll give him a shower. So we did it outside and really clean, and he decided to go and lay down in the mud in the area that we washed. So it was puddle of mud. So he laid down in the puddle of mud where we washed him.
So he was just as dirty as when he started.
Oh, he was dirtier. He was dirtier.
Oh, no.
But you've got to love him. It's simple things like that that will make that difference to your day. I didn't expect to do it. My mum was just like, "Hey, Kat, do you want to give me a hand washing the dog?" Because he's a water dog. They're breeded for water rescue, but he doesn't like water.
Really?
My
dog, he doesn't hate or love it. He's just very neutral about it, I think.
Yeah, well, it's things like you will, when you're walking him, you try and pull him in a puddle, but he will go round it and pull you in the puddle instead.
Oh no, it's the opposite of what you should be doing.
Yeah, and I just love it. It was just something like that brightened up my day. And it has been pretty stressful the past couple of weeks, catching up with uni and work and everything.
Yeah. You've got a
lot. Organising this sort of thing, but it has been fun. It's been a really, really good journey.
Yeah. It's all part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, all part of the adult life.
Oh,
so advice for young people: don't grow up.
Yeah, just stay young forever.
Yeah. And if you find out how to do that, please let me know.
Yeah, let's know.
Yeah. So, on that note, we will all say goodbye. We are doing a couple of sessions Tuesday, which is tomorrow, Wednesday and Friday, all between 5 and 6. We'll be joined by a couple of guests on them. So don't be afraid to come and say hello. Give us a shout. We will put on that pack, that back to school pack on our Facebook page.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So come and say hi over the next week, and have a good week.
Have a good week. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.